For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who hold the truth in unrighteousness, because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God hath showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. In this portion of scripture, what the Apostle Paul does is that he is giving reason as to why no one in this world is without excuse when it comes to the judgment of God. No one will be able to say that I did not know that you existed. I didn't know this and I didn't know that. And so the answer to a question that is generally asked is, what about those people who have never heard the gospel? And the bold and a very striking response from the Apostle Paul is that there is no one left on this earth that is without excuse, that is without some form of knowledge of the heavenly Lord. And that is where we come today, is even the response and reasoning of John Calvin in book 1, chapter 3, whereby his reasoning is taken as an exposition from Romans chapter 1, the Apostle Paul. The very title is The Knowledge of God Naturally Implanted in the Human Mind. I'd like to read something for you from his first paragraph, and that is this. As a heathen tells us, there is no notion so barbarous, no race so brutish, as not to be imbued with the conviction that there is a God. Even those who in other respects seem to differ least from the lower animals constantly retain some sense of religion. So thoroughly has this common conviction possessed the mind, so firmly is it stamped on the breast of all men. Since then there never has been, from the very first, and any quarter of the globe, any city, any household even, without religion. This amounts to a tacit confession that a sense of deity is inscribed on every heart. Now, the reasoning that John Calvin provides is the very same that is provided by the Apostle Paul. He says that the general revelation, that the knowledge of God is found in two parts. In the language of R.C. Sproul, immediate and mediate revelation under the category of general revelation. And what that means is immediate revelation is the knowledge of God impressed upon the consciences of men. Okay, and that is found once again in Romans chapter 1, verses 19, which clearly says, because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God had showed it unto them. And so it is a reference to immediate general revelation that is imprinted within the hearts of men, that this is a reality, that men are without excuse. And then, of course, though John Calvin at this point is talking about the immediate general revelation by which then men are inexcusable before God, the Apostle Paul talks about a different form of general revelation, but we could potentially talk about that a little later. Now, the reasoning that further, theological and philosophical reasoning that John Calvin develops is this: that the fact that men have an impression of some sort of deity is the fact that men are, one, idolatrous. The fact that there is idolatry is a revelation. It expresses the fact that there is some sense of the knowledge of deity impressed upon the human heart. And then, well, then you've got to deal with the question of the atheist. Now, his response to the atheist is he uses a man called Caligula. And he says that even a man such as Caligula, one of an atheist in his time, a famous one, is that he expresses fear in time and in the face of death. That what if I am wrong? And so within the very fabric of that question, what if I am wrong? The potentiality that it expresses the fact that what if I am wrong is that there is some sense of doubt that atheism may not necessarily be the ultimate truth and the ultimate answer, therefore, for living. And so he then further develops this idea is that, not only do men, atheistic men, the imprinting of deity is not only seen in, situational fear in their lives, but it is also seen in their need for elevating things in their life. For example, every man in this life has elevated some sense of material or some sense of aspect in their life, whether it be religion, whether it be money, whether it be material, whether it be marriage, whether it be children, whether it could be anything at this point. And so John Calvin says that even within the atheistic community, what is seen is this reality that those men in themselves are always looking to elevate and to a certain extent, worship those items or that aspect in their life, and which then therefore then strengthens the case for the fact that there is a deity. But now the only struggle that man has is not that he knows that there is a deity, but that his knowledge of this deity has been darkened because of sin. That though we may know that deity exists, though we may have our doubts and our knowledge is greatly then dampened, it is covered, it is corrupted because of our sin nature. And so that is where now in theological terms that's called the noetic effect, the effect of sin and imperfection on the mind, on the consideration of man in regards to reasoning on metaphysical levels. Okay, so now that is what at least John Calvin is reasoning for, is that then there is left no man in this world that is without excuse. Our job then is to consider our natural posture, our natural disposition, which is to worship, which is to elevate something other than ourselves. And therefore, that is the clearest form of immediate general revelation that all men are widely aware that there remains a deity. There is an impression, a strong impression of deity within every heart. And so this is the chapter 3 of book 1. I hope that you learned something new and that this was helpful. I will make another chapter 4. We will look into chapter 4, the knowledge of God stiffed or corrupted, ignorantly or maliciously. That's chapter 4. We will look at it next week. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment and I will try my best to get to them through video form. Please like, subscribe, share this video, and I hope to see you soon.